I talked about Tesla shares when they were just like $30, $40. If you invested now into Tesla or into space, I want you to see what I see in these two companies. I was quite right on Tesla, and since then the stock went 40x. Where we can be 5 years, 10 years later with Virgin Galactic. So happy Monday, and I want to today discuss something that is something very, very great. What happened over the last 2 years, building up my YouTube channel. If you're following me already 2 or more years, then I'm very grateful, because I started this YouTube journey to educate people, to document my story, my investment story. And in the very beginning, I was talking, same like I talk about space a lot now, I talked about Tesla very, very much. In fact, I was one of the few handful people on YouTube, they talk about extensively about Tesla, beside Hyperchange, beside the daily Tesla podcast, beside maybe Graham Stevens sometimes, right? Beside Jeremy from Financial Education as well. So I was one of the few, and this helped me obviously to grow also my YouTube channel, because I was very early, guys, okay? I talked about Tesla shares when they were just like $30, $40, okay? And as a proof, let's pull out an old video of mine right now.
The overall picture of Tesla. You can see in the last, since this is 2nd July of 2010, which was $19 for one stock of Tesla. We are now at 200, so it's like 10x within 9 years. And this is actually what I want to talk about as well. So basically, I believe that the Tesla stock will 10x in the next 5 to 10 years. So something like this will repeat, or I think it will repeat. So you can never know with stocks, obviously, how it develop, but I think exactly now it's a very good time to move into the stock, because we are under the levels of 2000, or we at the same levels at 2016, and 2016 they didn't had the ongoing gigafactory building in China, which will start end of this year, didn't had Model 3, didn't had ramped up production, and so I think it's a very, very interesting time to go into Tesla now. And this chart, it's always a good sign when it's going up down for a couple of periods, that it will go up or down, and the factors looks like it will go up.
So as you can see, I was quite at the beginnings. The quality of the videos were not so great, but the content was what was really important. And driving now the conclusion to Tesla versus space, while I have a very, very similar conviction, a very high conviction, Tesla was much higher, because it was just like this a no-brainer that this company will succeed. But actually, I want that, to see, okay, where are the parallels for you as a viewer? If you invested now into Tesla or into space, or maybe none of them, I want you to see what I see in these two companies. And I really, really would like to show you first the comparison between an early Tesla and an early space. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's have a look into how Virgin Galactic is doing, okay? So as you can see, Virgin Galactic, if you just take the maximum chart here, is very volatile, okay? Started with 10, going to 7, going to 28, going back to 17, 15, 12, going back to 20, going back to 15, going back to 24, going back to 17, going to all-time high at 54, going down to 19, going back up to 49, and going down to 16, 17. Currently at those levels, this is very volatile, I mean, we are speaking about here the lowest point, like at, what is it, 17 to the all-time high at 200% within like a couple of months, okay? And then other way around, like from the highest point till now, it's like 70% off. So very volatile. Let's have a look how Tesla was when they started out. And I'm trying to go here as far as possible here at $3. There's actually someone, here's the Instagram story and question. You should follow me also on Instagram. There was someone saying, Tesla went that and that. Do you think Tesla's pattern could reflect on space stock as well? And I said yes, so check this out. But if you're looking into this kind of volatility, and now the chart is maybe not that great because I cannot zoom in, but you can see here that we had also those crazy gains, here just from 2010 June, 40%, 50% up until April 2011, and then basically going down and then going back up, going down, here plus 177%, then plus 400%, and then you had also these downturns like going, here for example, taking this high, going down like for a quarter, and then it was even worse here in 2019 where I started heavily investing. The stock went 30% down and more. So it was not fun. This was definitely not fun. So you can see here the volatility is something that is very, very much a daily companion, right? If you're investing into this early stage. And this is really reminding me of space being so early, like Tesla creating the first Tesla Model S, and people said this will never work, no people will buy that, and see where we are just 5 years later. So where we can be 5 years, 10 years later with Virgin Galactic, can we have a really great huge space travel company? And the answer is yes, we can. The deep technology is already confirmed, like they flew already. So it's now about the scaling, building more spaceships. And when this is happening, then this can be a $200 stock. It can be a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm talking like hundreds of billion dollars of company. Just the patience is what you need. But let's have a look also what Shamas is telling us about the comparison between Tesla as well as space. Is it easy to be invested in a stock that is currently not so popular? No, it isn't. And I got a lot of hate when I talked about Tesla while the stock went down. But there is not only me who say Tesla is very similar to space from a story perspective for investors that look for really great companies and stories while there is this huge influx of money and money printing. Here's Shamas explaining you something very similar.
Can I take a step back and actually just give you the setup? Sure. And I think the setup it doesn't just apply to Virgin, but it also applies to Tesla. And those two things are actually the most similar stories. And the setup goes along the following lines. First, let's look at the fixed income markets. For the last 10 years, everything that has looked like a nail has been dealt with the following hammer, which is print money, cut rates. The Patriots win the Super Bowl, print money, cut rates. Trump tweets, print money, cut rates. Coronavirus, print money, cut rates. And while that's happened, rates have gone to zero, and there's trillions of excess capacity just sloshing around in the fixed income side. Then on the equity side, the number of companies you can invest in has shrank by 1/3. There's really no growth outside of multiple expansion, and there's no growth outside of buybacks. So everybody crowds into the 5 technology companies, right? The FANG stocks, which represent 20% of the market cap of the S&P. So when you put those two things together, there's a setup where there's no real growth, there's no unique stories, and there's nothing that can give you long-term outlook. So then when a company comes along that has a unique narrative and is trying to do something that is differentiated, high margin, and could theoretically grow for 10 years where there's an enormous amount of consumer demand, these things get repriced in ways that are non-traditional. We put $800 million into the business, between secondary and primary. So, there aren't a lot of people that are walking around with $800 million burning a hole in their pocket. So we found a fair valuation for him and for me. I think the other thing, though, Becky, that happened is when you take these things that I just talked about, the dearth of opportunities and the fact that there's so much money on the sidelines, and then apply it to a unique story, I think what happened in the fall was people finally woke up to Tesla, and then people started to say, what else looks very similar to this? I mean, you have to remember, people missed out on a 75x on Tesla over the last decade. I didn't. I was a proponent of the Tesla converts. I've been shredded on Twitter for years and years being a supporter of Elon in that company. We turned out to be right. The shorts turned out to be wrong. And I feel just as emotionally invested and intellectually invested in Virgin. Leon?
So as you can see, I was quite right on Tesla, and since then the stock went 40x. I really have a high conviction on space. You have seen my old videos. You have seen Shamas now speaking as well. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to go into the community more than just watching these videos, I have a 50% off still. It's just a couple of days more because there was a couple of questions because some of you are waiting for the salary end of the month. So I extended it for one more week. Thanks 50, you will get 50% off of the stock market course plus lifetime access to Discord where we talk about this kind of shares and great opportunities on the stock market. And if you want to learn how to become a great investor like I found and how I found Tesla and how this all developed and a huge case study on Virgin Galactic as well, join today. Finally, a few words. Investing is not easy, guys, and I really see that people are sometimes very defensive, specifically when the stock turns out to go to the other direction than predicted. But if you can sustain this pain, the gold pot at the end of the rainbow can be quite big. And don't forget, the grass is greener on the other side.